good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. We're back. It's the Ash and Shade Committee here. It's me, Curtis, your illustrious GM, joined by all of my lovely friends. I have Rachel, I have Chris, I have Josh. In no particular order. So yeah, welcome back. We're back for our regularly scheduled game. How we feeling? We excited? We excited to get a whole bunch of lore dumped into our noggins?
Yes.
Very excited.
So much enthusiasm. Love it. Here for
If
it.
you can penetrate
Sorry,
my thick skull.
I accidentally clicked on an emote and it was like, you're subscribed, 5% chance, enjoy this emote. And then right under it, there's a little heart, which is the only thing you can click on, and it's an unfollow button.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, no,
But
I don't want to unfollow
Just
them.
keep following and unfollowing. Just fuck with our stats. It's fine.
Yep.
Everything's fine. So, when last we left off, actually, before we get into that, real quick blurb, because we still have stickers.
Blurb.
We still have merch we can sell. For those of you in the chat who want to get yourself a sweet 5% chance logo in one of 4 different flavors, we have ourselves the black and white, the transparent sticker, and then 2 varieties of our colored sticker. A 2-inch and a 3-inch?
Yeah.
If you like our sweet logo, we have it. It sticks to a lot of things. I've got mine stuck on my car, and it is held on for like
6 miles.
8 months. So they're pretty sweet stickers, and the transparent one looks real good. So yeah, if you go to shecklerwoodworking.com under his page, as always, we are sponsored by Sheckler Woodworking, purveyor of fine dice trays, bread boxes, and doors recently. But yeah, if you like wood stuff, go check it out. If you like stickers, go check it out. And that's we're starting.
When did I make a bread box?
Didn't you make a bread box? Swaney wants
Swaney
it.
wants you to make a bread box.
Oh, he's made a bread.
That's true.
As a can confirm.
As a recovering bread.
No, having been his manager at Papa John's, yes, that boy is at least 60% bread. But anyway, I think that's our only announcement. Yes.
I think so.
Cool. So, when last we left off, y'all had realized that 3 months had gone by while you were in Umshara's tent. After a little bit of heated discussion back and forth, and Adam not giving up the axe, but definitely seeing more of Lonnie's concern with this axe. You guys were about to teleport home to Cormvor and check in on what had happened over the last 3 months. When Evelyn brought up again that she can reach out to a friend in the desert, an ancient brass dragon named Yati, who so far seems to be a very friendly, affable fellow. Much more talkative than the previous dragon that you fought and killed before he got to monologuing.
That wasn't our fault.
Effable?
We did our best. And so
Effable?
did you.
Maybe. You'll have to ask. But we, you've been taken under his aegis and offered hospitality, freely given, unlike Umshara, who basically was trying to negotiate for your peaceful transfer. This was openly given. However, there was a warning not to steal anything from this particular horde.
Thankfully, we don't have any rogues that have a crippling stealing addiction.
I was too distracted. Steal things.
But having accepted that, there's also a little bit of bad blood between Adam and Yati, which is interesting. It's a polite standoff, but Yati is definitely not treating Adam with the same favor and respect that he's treating Evelyn. Evelyn had the dragon whistle that summoned him. But, well, as we left off, y'all hopped onto his back and were making your way to his home. As you were flying over, can I get a volley of perception checks for anyone who's looking at the scenery Unless you
I
want
thought you were
going
gonna
to
say arrows.
Dozens of them.
Volley of arrows from all none of you archers.
None of
30.
you archers.
30.
6 with a natural 1.
I got a 9.
Okay.
I got you, boo.
So Thalia, as you are flying, as you're riding on Yati's back and looking around, you guys are probably half a mile or so in the air. You are a couple thousand feet in the air, low enough that it's not uncomfortable, but high enough that the only sand that's kicking around in your lungs here is the very fine particulate that catches onto the wind and eventually will form clouds. You are also still being covered by a very comfortable, very large, puffy-looking cloud that is keeping pace with all of you. As Yati is summoned to this cloud and it is just traveling along with you. Thalia, you understand enough about magic that this is a very casual display of phenomenal magic. He's like, I just make my own weather system, and it plays nice with everything that's going around. But when like the wind comes to buffet it, the cloud's like, no, I stay here. This is where I go. But you guys are flying over, and Yati is kind of giving you the tour, pointing out. He's like, and there's one of my favorite sand dunes to lie down and scratch my back. For some reason, the way the wind hits, it gets up, and you can really get in between the spines. It's quite lovely.
I did ask if we could fly by the dead zone and if he knew
Correct.
why
You certainly did.
it was the dead zone.
So as you're flying over at this height, you start to fly over it, and as Yati's sort of giving this dollar by dollar tour, Thalia, with your 30, you're spotting you're spotting a little more vegetation than you did previously. This desert is blooming more with life than it was 3 months ago when you were last here. Small cactuses, patches of desert flowers, and things like that. You're also seeing people as they are sort of like they hear you flying over and they pop out, and you are seeing cloaked and fully covered figures coming out and waving metallic scarves of some kind. They look to be some sort of shiny gold, probably brass, honestly, if you put your mind to it, waving these flags of respect for Yati as he flies over. You're on a parade float, essentially, and the locals are coming out to say hi.
I hate parade.
Ronan, you
Is
got a
he
natural
bronze
1.
or brass?
He's brass.
It's brass. Okay. Yeah, I got a natural 1.
They're the same thing in this universe.
I disagree, but that's fine. We'll move past it. But yes, Ronan, you were looking for the... you were looking at the dead zone. Looking for...
Well, I asked them to tell me about the dead zone, not to take me to the dead zone. Maybe by the time we got there, my natural 1 would have expired, and I may need another.
This will be
perception
pointed
roll.
out to you. This one will be pointed out to you, but Thalia, like Lami, as you're looking around, with a 9, you're seeing more of the desert beauty that you're used to. This is your home. You're recognizing flowers in your parents' house, and you're seeing them blooming in large numbers out in the desert, which is kind of comforting in a strange way. Oh no! What are you doing? Shush! Shush! Shush!
And the Browns win the Super Bowl.
This is why you mute your phone before every show. I'm terribly sorry about that. But yeah, Lami, you're focusing more on the flowers and everything. Ronan, you're having a hard time keeping your balance now that you're a little older.
Oh no, are you gonna fall off?
You're not gonna fall off, but your attention is more like there's a weird hitch in your hip because you're not used to riding something this large that's like shifting underneath you in weird ways. Your hip's just starting to bug you.
No,
Ronan
my
sat on
hips
his wallet
don't
most of his
lie.
life.
It's true.
However, as you're flying over, and Yati's like, "Oh yes, Mr. Ronan, you are interested in the dead zone, correct?
I was.
Take, if you look over the right wing, and be careful, I'll lean a little bit, but hold on to something. And he tilts a little, and all of you get this view of an absolutely enormous crater in the middle of the desert. The fact that you can see it this high up, it's probably a quarter mile across. Tremendous explosion. Tremendous crater. And at the very center is a very large, glowing green stone.
Is green glow, bruv, from space?
Misshapen, uneven piece of large glowing rock.
All right, time to go to the moon. Here we go.
Go to the moon!
Moon's haunted.
If Critical Role can do it, we can do it. I don't know if they're going to the moon or not. I'm not caught up on season 3.
Today I saw the moon.
It's made of cheese. Yeah, very large hunk of green glow. It's chilling. He goes, yes, that, the stories say it either fell from the sky or was, created when a magical experiment went, well, wrong. Maybe wrong might be the correct term. It didn't go according to plan. We'll say it that way.
You weren't here when that
Oh no,
appeared?
I was miles away.
Oh. Did you see it like go like?
There was a very loud thud. I was reading.
Oh, what
in
were
the
you
bath.
reading? Do you remember?
I believe it was a book of Goliath children's rhymes, actually.
We'll have to trade some rhymes.
The Lamb and the Shield was quite good, quite catchy. And then, yes, my entire house shook, which was most alarming. I almost got the book wet, which I was not about to have happen. By the time I got the whole mess cleaned up and came out, there it was.
And how many years ago was this?
Oh. Few centuries, I think. Was it? No, more than. It was a few centuries, I think.
Well,
We can ask Tunnel when we get back. Tunnel remembers those things more than I do. But yes, so that's the Dead Zone. Don't recommend going in there without a few good healers, and or a very benevolent god to watch over you. And no, I'm not going to.
fair.
But yes. Anyway, on to more exciting things. And he continues flying over, and he starts pointing out some of his wells that he has scattered. And he seems to be very proud of how long these wells have stayed full and stayed clean and untainted for the people that choose to work with him. And he's very happy of the service that he's providing to everybody. And as he's talking, the distance starts to burn away beneath you, and you're covering a lot of ground, and you end up heading north, a little more northwest, up into the mountains. But instead of flying up to some of the taller peaks, he starts to lower and snake down, zipping and dodging into some of the valleys in between these higher cliff tops. It's a little precarious. The first initial dive is hair-raising, like the first dip after a roller coaster, but you're all able, easily holding on, very gently, very carefully. You hear Adam complaining a little bit in the back as he's a little closer to the tail as it's whipping for balance, but he's able to hold on. And you find what looks like a recessed cave, probably 1,000 feet off the valley floor, with a lovely view between some of these mountains. There's foliage, greenery, forests. You see animals still grazing as this several ton monster flies over them, they're completely unfazed. And it's this almost idyllic kind of scene as Yati comes in and lands in his home. Kind of settles down, and you all disembark. This entryway is sparsely decorated, but there is a very large rug that sort of snakes off down into the cave. There's a very long kind of sort of hallway runner. He's like, please wipe your feet before you walk on the rug. The cleaners don't like coming up here very often. It's mostly a joke, but no, please do wipe your feet. I'm very proud of this. This was a gift. And
I wipe my feet. Not on the rug.
any of you read Draconic?
Yes.
Those of you who read Draconic, it is essentially like a story tapestry of Yati's great deeds. That several someones wove for him. And it's sort of, it's not pretentious, oddly enough. It's a lot of just like Yati provided counsel in this meeting between several. A lot of them is Yati providing counsel and being sort of this arbitrator of disputes amongst the individual Condoan tribes when they were still individual tribes and were more likely to have infighting. Yati was sort of the neutral arbiter of the desert. And the two of you learn a new nickname for Yati. The Voice of the Falling Sky.
Thalia, you can read all that, right?
Yeah, can.
That's good, because that's too many words for me.
What? This is incredible. It's beautifully done. It's so detailed and intricate. And then you just follow the scrolling as it's going through the. You don't care.
I
do you?
skip tribes, Yati fighting bad sky.
Well, there's some pictures
Got
too.
it.
There are pictures. There's some lovely pictures.
Oh, I'll look
Sorry,
at the
what did you say,
pictures.
This doesn't look like something that was maybe gifted to him by a certain desert hag that creates things out of people.
Surely not.
Roll me an Arcana check, buddy.
The only NPC we ever met that can crochet.
Oh no, the loomers in the chat are
Arcana
gonna be
plus
upset.
0. 17.
No. This appears to be completely mundane. There is no magic in this whatsoever.
Okay.
Entirely mundane. And it's very old. But very well maintained. But yeah, as you mosey on in and walking through, following Yati, sort of with his wings up, sort of covering up most of the hallway. He kind of lumbers down the hallway, and he turns and sweeps his wing to the side in a very dramatic fashion. He goes, "Welcome to my home, Ash and Shade." And in the center of this tremendous cave is an oasis. Sand, palm trees, as if it has been yanked from the desert and parked directly in the center of this cave. There are shafts of sunlight coming through, and as you're looking, you see that it is actually glass. It is some sort that is not open to the sky. It is contained, it is sealed, but the sunlight is coming through, and all you see are shelves and shelves and shelves of books. 50, 100 feet high. Every single wall of this cave is covered in scrolls and texts and manuscripts from every race in every language. You can't read any of them from here, but you know that it would take a lifetime to read one of these shelves. Everything is organized, everything is well placed. around this oasis. Closer
And
in
the
around-
Goliath one, they're just like really, really big. So
They're-
there's only like 6 of them on one wall. It
there
still
are,
takes up the whole one.
it's the like 100-footer. It's like one of the
Oh,
100-foot
yeah.
ones. There are 10 shelves because the books are about like 7 feet tall. So especially the children's books, those are 10 feet tall because they got to make the
Ooh.
letters big so the kids can read them. There is plant life. There are trees and ivies growing up along the bookshelves themselves, almost looking like they've been grown naturally rather than carved out of stone or wood. But everything here just feels peaceful.
But the rent's pretty pricey.
I called in a few favors when I was a little wormling, and I've grown into it, I think.
This is beautiful.
Why, thank you. Now, we can sit here by the water. We can head into... What is it? What's the word? The sitting room. Or if you prefer a meal or something, we can gather in the kitchen.
I mean, it's your house. I don't care where we go.
You are my guests. Any request you make, I will do my best to provide, with a few personal restrictions.
I'll look to
Ronan's gonna need somewhere comfy to sit. Look at those old bones.
That is true.
The sitting room it is, then. Would you like some assistance, Mr.
Not too comfy, he'll fall asleep.
It's also true.
Would you care for some assistance, Mr. Ronan?
No, I'm good.
Get him the walker.
Unless there's like climbing or swimming.
It
That
is a
would-
long walk.
Oh, then maybe.
And he drums his claws in a staccato pattern, and one of what looks like was the bottom part of a trophy case kind of just, and a chair pops free and kind of gallops on over to you and scoots in behind you for you to sit down in.
I sit.
There's a little creak in the wood, and you hear the chair just kind of go, and then it starts to very steadily, feet moving in opposite rhythms under your weight, just start to move over to one of the side rooms at a comfortable walking pace.
Well, that's pretty creepy.
Would you like a chair as well? There are more comfortable chairs in the other room, but if you are tired from your travels,
I'll take a free chair ride.
another one from looks like an old, we'd call it a Grecian urn, in this display case with this bizarre looking pattern on it that again looks like it's telling a story. This chair kind of pulls itself free, unmeshing itself from the woodwork, and comes over to you, Lami, and settles in behind you. Settle down.
I sit on the chair.
And it follows Ronan off to the other room. Leonti goes, Miss Thalia, if you would like to join your friends, you may, or if you are interested, I would be most intrigued to share with you the most recent events that I've been able to keep tabs on. I know you've been out of time for, well, some time.
I'd love some updates if you share.
Please come. We will step into my office. And you two move off to another hallway.
Yeah.
As you walk in, there is a very large wooden desk that looks comically like Atronix's, just expanded. Like if you grabbed the image of Atronix's desk by the corner and just dragged it up to scale, just like
Has a little Sheckler woodworking.
It does. It's a very large. It's to scale
Yep.
with the rest of the desk. You do seems to see. You see several craftsman's marks on this. This was the work of several lifetimes. And he settles behind the desk and goes, "I'm sorry," and pulls over what looks like a set of stairs up to the desk so you can come up and stand on the desk next to him. He goes, "Now," picks up a small, to him, pair of spectacles and puts them on his nose. He goes, "Let's see what's in the box today." And he pulls a box over
It's just hands.
that looks like every single letterbox where you would put your completed copywork for the day at the Brotherhood, just larger. He reaches down, pulls out a package tied in twine, pulls it out, sets it down. He goes, "This is today's batch from Kondo. Plenty of interesting things happening there. Have you seen, shoot," he kind of like picks up the glasses and puts them down. "I'm looking, can you look for a letter opener? It'll be a sword for you, but I need..."
I will look for a letter opener.
It's underneath, from your perspective, down on the desk. It is tucked away underneath a couple of papers. You see what looks like the hilt and pommel of a sword. A very large sword, like Ronin strength. As you go over and grab it, go to pull it free, it rings with this musical resonance to it. And the blade itself is totally crystal. And he goes, "Yes, there it is. Fantastic. Thank you. Just be very careful with it. It was made to kill me, so I'd appreciate you not stabbing me with it. Thank you." And he starts very carefully opening letters. The long and short, from what you get from a couple of minutes of him reading through the letters, in the 3 months you've been gone, Kondo is a bit of a mess. The people have basically gone and overthrown what remained of the Raj's forces and sort of instituted their own decentralized government. There is a lot of gangs and other organizations that are sort of keeping to themselves. Once night falls, the streets are kind of a no man's land. Anyone caught out at night it's a rough and tumble once the sun goes down. Especially because there's been a remarkable discovery of an entire underground city beneath Kondo in the Warrens. The locals are calling it Ratville or Warren Town. And for the most part, people stay away because of the large number of feral rats that will attack on sight, and also the tremendous metal guardian beast that no one seems to have been able to get a really good look at before it, kills and eats them. But there have been a few spies and expeditions that have made their way into the tunnels and come back with information, come back with new things. And information and some interesting technology is coming out of these places. Ways to regrow, and growing flesh and regrowing injuries very quickly. It seems to be the most interesting one. Some of the larger emerald and other mines have taken a keen interest in this, and there's a black market starting to bubble up there. As for the esteemed Raj, as he cracks open another envelope from Koromvor, the Raj himself is fine. But there were parties sent to Kondo to see if bringing him back would be able to help establish some sanity. But those groups were beaten back and were essentially, for the long and short, the Raj is no longer welcome in his own city. And the Sandstone Keep remains mostly empty.
Huh. That's a lot.
It's been a busy 3 months.
Yeah. Huh. No, no history checks out there.
Have you traveled asynchronously through time before, Miss Thalia?
Asynchronously?
You said you were in that tent for a few minutes.
Oh. Yeah. No, that was a first.
You seem to be dealing with it remarkably well. You and all of your friends, minus Ronan being much older.
I'll probably have a mental breakdown about it later, but for now, it's fine. It's fine. Too much to catch up on right now.
That always seems to be the case. Is there anything you would wish to ask without your friends present before we go rejoin them?
They've kind of had an issue with me keeping secrets and like asking things without them, so I'm trying to be better about it. So I guess I'll wait until we're all together.
Perhaps that is wise.
I don't really like it when I keep secrets from them.
Not inferring that you had any particular secrets, just anything particularly personal.
We'll see.
Very well. Now, we can, well, I will see if Tonnel is around to join us. He's always a fan of new companions, new friends to visit. Come with me. And he starts to, the two of you start to mosey your way out. In the study, or in the reading room, Ronan and Lami, you guys are marched in your chairs over to what looks like a very large. There's a very large dragon-sized couch that looks to be well worn and well loved over several centuries of reading, as well as a smaller single-person chair in the same style and coloration. Sitting next to it, there's a small table. Small for the dragon, large for the human, a nice mid-sized table between them. But across the way is, again, a large pile of throw pillows and rugs and just general comfortable things to sit down in. And the chairs kind of and then stop right next to the comfortable things.
Chair, put me on the comfy thing. I don't move anymore, only chair.
Nothing happens.
I feel like I'm like perched up on the chair, like crouching, holding on to the back of it. Like,
Yes,
and it's like trying to like steady itself, but I'm still like trying to steady myself, so we're just like constantly in fear of falling over, both of us.
Okay. So you're kind of perched on the chair, but it comes to a stop, and the legs kind of spread out a little more as it stabilizes itself, ready for you to dismount because it has no idea which direction you're going.
I go over the back of it.
You like hop over it. It kind of takes a second, figures out what's going on. I was like, and just becomes a normal chair again. Lamy, the chair you're in does not move.
Get off my chair. The normal way, though, not the Riker.
You're not going to pull a Riker maneuver.
Or whatever Ronan tried to do.
Okay. So you dismount like a regular person, and the chair kind of, again, just like clicks back into its correct position. And you hear, good evening. Would you care for tea or coffee or something stronger? And you see a very comfortably broad, dark-skinned man step out of a doorway nestled between several large stacks of books. This place looks to be a little less structured than Yati's main space. And you see this man come out, the very, very dark skin, gold piercings through his nose and his ears, go well with a faded gray, thick braid that's pulled tight to his head, but sort of drapes down across one shoulder as he's standing in these very comfortable looking robes, holding a cup of something himself in his bare feet, just kind of looking at you. You also see a gem sitting in a necklace around his throat. A very bright, brilliant topaz set in brass. Stands there and kind of looks at all of you.
That's what gives you lightning damage or resistance in Diablo.
That is good to
Where
know.
did you come from?
Originally?
No, I just now.
I live here. You are
Wasn't aware that
guests of,
dragons had friends.
You are guests of Yati, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Very
We both
well.
sound so sure.
Well, you have to understand. Sorry, my voice. I'm not used to being this old.
It is
we
fine.
were
You will get
just-
used to it.
We were just in a tent with a hag for 3 months, and she offered me tea. So you were like, "Can I offer you tea?" And flashbacks just came rushing in. You're not a hag, are you? Is that rude to ask?
No, it is not rude to ask. No, I'm not a hag.
Oh, but in that case, tea would be lovely.
Excellent. Would you like something in it for your voice? Perhaps some honey.
Ooh, that does sound lovely.
Excellent. Dragon, would you care for something? Something perhaps a little stronger.
Beer for me, please. Cold, preferably.
I will see what I can do. Are there others with you? Has Yati taken his favorites away? And he looks across the
Thalia's
room.
here. What does Thalia like drink?
Tea, probably.
Stronger, or is she a warrior such as yourselves?
You should get
She's-
her a tea and a beer just in case.
She's a warrior of the mind.
Or maybe some nice wine.
I don't know if I've ever seen her drink wine.
I don't know what I've seen her
I've
drink
seen her
recently
drink
at all.
rum.
I've seen her drink rum. How do you have any rum? How about a tea and a rum?
Do you have like a cart where you could just bring like half of the bar over, maybe?
I will prepare a dark and stormy night for
Ooh.
your friend. And he goes, and you, sir. And you all turn as Adam comes in, sort of glowering with the axe like just up on his shoulder.
How'd he get that?
Oh no, you have the axe in your pocket. That's correct. Thank you for catching me on that. He does not have the axe.
Like, wait a minute.
I've been wearing my bag of holding like a fanny pack. He
no
can't
one
have
gets
that.
this evil axe out of my butt. Adam kind of comes in with his hands like tucked in his pockets, and Evelyn is sort of behind him, keeping an eye on things. And he goes, "And for you to, oh, well, this is most
them.
unexpected. Welcome back, Adam and Miss Evelyn. It is lovely to have you gracing our doorstep once again. Shall I prepare the usual?"
They know each other.
Maybe they're friends from work.
Could
Adam kind of, no, water would be sufficient. Emma goes, "Water for me as well. I understand that we've had a long several days, Tano, and water would be best." Yes. "Very well. Take your seats. I will be back momentarily. Make yourselves comfortable and keep your hands to yourselves." And he throws a look to Adam and Evelyn as he strides out of the room, leaving you in this sun-dappled chamber that, for its size, it does not echo. It feels cozy and comfortable, like a reading nook.
I clap to check the acoustics.
You clap and it just kind of goes pop. Nothing super loud.
What? We weren't talking about you. What are you talking about?
Nope.
You hear Evelyn go, "Oh, I'm Miss Evelyn now?
Ooh, what did you
Tano
guys
liked
do?"
me." Adam goes, "I thought he did too. But Yati didn't threaten to eat you when you saw him. Maybe they picked favorites." Thalia and Yati come in through the main door that you all came through. And Thalia, you are greeted by the sight of Adam and Evelyn standing near a large pile of throw pillows and comfortable blankets and things to sort of nestle down in. And Adam and Lami, what are you two doing? I see Ronan's got his hand up. His hands up.
I'm standing here like this because he said to keep our hands to themselves. So I just have my hands up.
I'm just kind of staring at Adam. Blank facey.
Well, please make yourselves comfortable. Have any of you seen Tano?
Yes, he was here, and he talked to us, and then he left, and he's coming back.
Excellent. Is he bringing? Did he mention anything about bringing drinks? He's usually
Yes.
He's very. Yes, he's very good at doing his duties, which I wish I could get him to relax, but he is dutiful to the end. Every end. Please, come, sit, become comfortable, and we can chat. I would love to hear some of the stories I've heard, if they are true, if they're not, what the truth really is would be most interesting.
That is nice to know sometimes.
Nyati kind of curls up into this large couch, settles down so his head is resting about where all of you are sitting. There's actually the couch that he's in is actually recessed a little into the floor, So when he rests his head on the couch cushion, he is eye level with all of you, and it's a remarkably even footing for this conversation. You are on an even playing field. Are any of you going to sit down?
Yes.
Yeah, once Yachty's.
Crisscross applesauce.
So as you all take a seat, Tanil comes back. Thalia, as you watch Tanil come in, and he's a broad but comfortable looking individual, very, very dark skin, with a thick gray braid that's sort of piled up in the back and draped over one shoulder, that's going about to the middle of his waist in what looks like a comfortable robe. And you see several flecks of gold from piercings and things in his face, but he's coming over with a large tray of what looks like a couple cups of tea, some water, a beer, and set a little ways off are 2 teacups. One is clearly sized for a person. The other is much too large to be used for a person. He comes around and he hands out. Ronan gets a tea, extra honey. This is lemon lavender.
Thank you.
Lemon lavender. If you do not like it, don't tell me. Drink it anyway.
Fair.
He hands Lamy a beer, frosty from the glass. He goes, "This is my personal brew.
Thank you.
If you do not like it, I will accept criticism only when the glass is empty."
Tastes like beer.
Goes over, hands over 2 glasses, hands the one to Adam first, gently hands it over to him, and then hands the one to Evelyn. And if you hadn't just seen Adam hand the one to Adam, you wouldn't notice how quickly he just kind of like handed it to Evelyn and walked away. As he comes back over with 2 large teacups. He goes, hello. Your friends told me that you were a tea and rum drinker, if that is correct.
Yeah?
Well, conveniently, you and Yachty share a drink preference. So here's a pair of dark and stormy nights. Enjoy. Please, as always, if you do not like it, tell me afterwards. Yachty goes, "Nothing for you." He goes, No, I've had plenty. This will prove to be a very interesting meeting, and after the last time that you had company over, I would prefer not to spit take.
People do that? What is that?
It is when you it's when you like choking on water and spraying it over things. He goes, "You cannot imagine how difficult it is to get coffee out of a 3rd century manuscript of the Song of Creation. It is devilishly difficult, is a little too apt." Lamy, as you're drinking this beer, by the way, there's a faint hint of smoke and brimstone to it that's oddly familiar.
Neat.
Lamy's gonna get powers from Auntie from drinking beer. He's gonna be beer powered. It's like Popeye, but he has to chug a
Lamy
beer
is
first.
only Drunken Fist Monk. That's it. We've abandoned all hope.
Drunken Fist Paladin, new subclass.
I'll let him smite, honestly. Like,
I was
you
almost a
could
monk paladin once.
Barehanded smite is the way to go. You can smite with anything. D&D hot take. Give me a moment while I acquire some music, because I had music for this.
This moment brought to you by Sheckler Woodworking. Acquire all of your woodworking needs from woodworkingsheckler.com.
There we go. So, you all settle in with your drinks in hand, and Yachty is sitting and very delicately between 2 very large claws, takes the cup and kind of takes a sip and goes, "That's good. We might need more rum." He's like, "I'll make a note of that for later. Now,
I
Another
pull out
beer,
the
please.
alchemy jug, and I go, rum. Good rum. Does it make good rum?
I don't think you can tell the. Can you tell an alchemy jug what to do?
I
don't
think
you
so.
can. I think it's a different build.
Didn't you fill your alchemy jug with beer once?
I thought so.
Name one liquid from the table. I'll give you.
Beer, honey, mayonnaise, oil, vinegar, water fresh, water salt, wine.
Blood.
Basic
Acid.
poison
An acid, please. Would you
and
like?
acid.
So rum's not in there.
Why is mayonnaise
But-
in there?
Rum could be a poison to your liver.
True.
Mayonnaise is a liquid, just like a hot dog is a sandwich.
Josh
What if we
did not
removed
come on the internet to pick a
mayo?
fight today.
What if we removed mayo from the table and put in liquor?
Various types of liquor.
I would give you one kind of liquor. If you want it to be rum, I will make that substitution.
I will make it rum.
Fantastic.
Good rum.
Mayonnaise flavored rum.
Ugh.
Ew, get out. Can we boot someone from the stream for a second?
Hold on, we're just gonna go
I do
to
not want the slander in my.
Ba-did-it-boo.
cut to the intermission screen. We'll be right back. Anyway, we're not doing that. So yeah, Ronan, you flick it and it's you hear it kind of sloshing around. You pop the cork and it does smell like pretty good rum. And Yati goes, ooh, bring that over.
I'll grab it from Ronan.
No. You sit and enjoy your drink. Ronan, come here. This is a very nice, very interesting jug. What would you like to know for it?
For it. Like for you to
I will
keep it?
trade you.
Oh. Well, you see, it's keeping us alive in the desert, so I would really like to keep it.
That's fair. You can always say no. But if you all impress me, I may provide aid if you're ever in my... I don't want to say kingdom, but my personal little slice of the world.
Domain?
Domain sounds
The world is made
too-
of slices?
Domain is close. It's too pedestrian.
How many slices is the world made of?
Well, it depends on who you ask. The ancient Genosians thought 12. That number can vary up to 16 or down to 4.
Oh.
It's a lot of slices.
That's
Some
true.
people don't know how to count.
That's also very true.
Mm.
I believe the world can be sliced however we choose. And
Hmm.
whoever we invite into our little piece of the world is up to us as well.
How about, now hear me out. I pull out my canteen. In
Go
this
on.
canteen, there's a magical bean that when planted, really wacky things can happen.
Yes, a magical bean.
One of them made a big stone statue of my friend Patrick, and it heckled him and chased him around for like 24 hours, and it told everyone to come and beat him up and how a terrible person he was. I thought he was kind of a nice person, but the statue didn't think so, and it yelled at him and screamed at him, and it was all stone, and then it stays there forever as like a monument to his sins or something. There was a lesson in him summoning it from the bean, but I didn't really understand what it was. But other things can happen. Like he planted them and it made eggs, and then he ate the eggs. Well, him and his friends ate the eggs, and his friends' all heads exploded. So I wouldn't eat anything that it makes.
At least not the eggs.
There's a chort hole. There is this. Well, that's certainly not what I was expecting to be offered. A magic bead. Do you have others, or just the one?
I do have a few others.
May I sniff?
Sure, you can sniff. Not the one in the bottle because it's in water, but you can sniff the other ones.
Oh. That, my friend, is very potent. Your friend Patrick was chosen by the Oak Father, and that is not a blessing to be given lightly.
Yeah, Tree Daddy.
I'll have to call him that the next time we chat. Tree Daddy. Very well, Ronan. I would be most interested in one of these unwhetted beans.
Unwetted bean. That's fair. That's fair.
What would you ask of me in exchange?
Do you just want me to like come out swinging with the questions, or should we start little and get bigger?
Let's... I was going to start with the small stuff, but you seem to be wanting to go big or go home. And I'm a fan of going big.
Okay. So hear me out. About 100 years ago, which you were alive for,
Correct.
there was a war. If your nose starts bleeding, stop thinking about it.
Oh, one moment. Tannel. Get the pillows for you, if I know where this is going. Go on.
There was a war with the Underdark.
Yes.
I'm going slowly to make sure that your nose doesn't start bleeding and you die. Because that's what happened to Evelyn when I asked her about it. She just kind of went bleh and fell over.
She is not a dragon.
That is fair.
I would appreciate a little more respect.
Well, it's weird.
It is. It is. Well, that would be telling. Go on.
So there was the Underdark Wars that no one on the planet seems to be able to remember, even though people were alive then, they're alive now. And we've uncovered all sorts of spooky things about it. And like our robot friends and friends in the mountain and this red guy. And there are all these things pointing to like this happening again or something like that. Do you know what the deal with it was or is? Really anything about it at all?
Yes.
Oh.
You'll need to get more specific with your questions, because if I were to sit here and tell you everything I know about it, you would all... Well, it would take a long time. And you would run out of tea.
That's fair.
It depends how much tea you have, I guess.
I don't want to drink all of his tea. He's a nice person. That's rude to drink all of someone's tea. What do I want to know about it? Oh boy.
Yes, I was
That's
there.
a tough one. Well, no one really won. So I guess there's no point in asking who won, because they just kind of sealed them off and locked them down there.
Did they?
I think that was the idea with the whole gates and things, the magic doors. Ooh, here's a good one. Why can't people remember it?
Because of the abridgment.
Is this
The
like
Omen?
when someone takes a really long story and makes it a lot shorter?
In a sense.
What bridge?
There was... Well, there was this war. According to the best information I can gather, and have gathered, it was a war that started for survival.
Who
The
started it, or is that another question?
Who started it remains to be seen. Is it the
Oh.
first Tell you what, Ronan, who starts a fight in a bar? The person who throws the first punch? Or the person who antagonizes? The drunken rabble-rouser who's breaking glasses and tables, generally being a nuisance.
In my experience, there's been someone picking on someone that didn't deserve to be picked on.
So,
This is a
not the
loaded
one who
question.
throws the first punch. By that logic, your kind started it.
Like the Goliaths?
No. Surface dwellers. Everyone who lives beneath the sky but above the ground. The Selbians, what they call themselves, the Drow, Duergar, Deep Gnomes, all the races that have been vilified and subjugated by humans, elves, dwarves, Goliaths, Aarakocra. All
The
of
who?
them.
Who's this?
I suppose that was lost too. All the races that took offense to people living beneath them. Small slights, large wars, invasions, thefts against sovereign nations that you all refuse to acknowledge. Who can certainly blame them to unify and strike back?
What about the wet people? Whose side did they take?
The Tritons?
No, anybody who's wet. Lives in the wet.
There were factions. They were divided.
Oh, they didn't all take one side?
No. The Sahwain found allies in their repressed and oppressed brethren.
What's a Safane?
Sounds like a
Do you know
pastry.
what a Triton is, Ronan?
Yes, one of our friends dated one for a little bit. But really, it was just a ploy to get us to check out her really goopy orb.
You hear a snort, a very undignified snort from Tannel's end of the couch, where he is kind of settled. Imagine this lovely Triton friend of yours, bruising or not. Have you ever seen something from the abyssal plane of the ocean? Have you ever met an aboleth?
Yes.
Yes.
Imagine a sea folk with a little more aboleth to them. They're not traditionally pretty. They have beauty in their own ways, but people could not look past their
Ugliness?
atypical features. So they found allies amongst themselves in the Drow and the other folk. But the war ended. And you are all still here. that doesn't tell you who won.
But we weren't alive.
Your species is.
Right, because you have to have parents. That's a good point.
Generally, you should have parents.
Both of my parents are dead.
And
I
I'm
thought
sorry
mine
to
were.
hear that.
His might be alive.
The war was forgotten. Intentionally.
Or do you just make people forget stuff?
Ronan, have you ever wished on a falling star?
Sure.
Has it ever come true?
No.
What if it did?
I would have a lot more donuts when I was a kid. That's for sure. So someone wished that everybody forgot about it.
Several someones.
Several someones. So is this one of those situations where, like, if enough people believe in something, it just kind of miraculously happens?
If by enough people you mean a dozen of the strongest magic users above and below the surface.
So wait, even the what did you call them? The Celebians?
Selbians.
Selbians. I didn't
Silly
spell
beans.
that how it sounds at all.
Silly beans? No!
So be
Fuck.
silly beans. So even they wanted. Do they all not remember either?
I wasn't in the room when the details were hammered out. I was just at the initial meeting.
There was a meeting.
Several.
What kind of meetings?
Deciding the fate of entire races and species. It was not a fun time.
Could be a pretty fun time.
Everyone blamed each other for starting the fight. The coalition claimed self-defense over lands and titles they did not actually hold. Selbians claimed self-defense for thousands of years of aggression, prejudice, hate. And if we had left the war to the generals and their leaders, no one would be left.
Sorry, we've just been hunting for answers for so long that I don't know if I have really thought of good questions about it.
Honestly,
Anything we found out about it, we just kind of stumbled into.
That is how you find things people want hidden. If you are looking for it, and you're thinking about where it should be, you'll never find that particular book.
Do you know the elf shadow people from Corumvor?
I do. I know the tragedy that made them. And I made one or two of my own.
Wait, there are shadow yous out there?
No.
Oh, terrifying. They're so grumpy. And you were so not grumpy.
Why, thank you. I do my best to remain in an affable demeanor.
Affable.
The
Very
tea
good job.
and comfy, the tea and company, and being among my creature comforts helps.
These pillows are creatures?
They are comfy.
Some of them. If it wills, gently set it aside. Don't kick it.
No kicks.
Drink your tea. And think
Bean.
of questions. And he takes the bean from your hand.
How many
Thank-
beans do I have? I have no idea.
Counting the one in the jug? I think 3.
3? Is that including the one that
That's
I just gave him?
You were down to 3. You have one in the jug and 2
Down
in the
to
bag.
3. Okay. Can
Band name called it.
write Bag of beans.
Wait, 3 beans.
No, 1 in the jug and 2 in the
Notes.
bag.
3 beans.
It's a bluegrass band. Oh no. Lami or Thalia,
Notes,
any
3
questions?
beans.
Start. Look, I'm sorry to derail you about this whole war thing, but I didn't really expect you to know anything about it because nobody knows anything about it. Do you know any, like, blue dragon deity bitches? Awfully rude ones.
Well, yeah, we talked about that when you were being grumpy in the sand, Lami, when you wouldn't look at him. That he even knows her name, which you didn't seem to know.
Nope.
Yes. Yeva, my extended cousin.
How extended?
What's
Former roommate thrice removed?
She tried to have me murdered.
Me too.
Tannel kind of goes multiple times. He goes, yes, and that's actually how I met Tannel. He was well, he was a gift from her of some sort. And goes, I was hired to kill him. By the way, did you take a Axada again? I could not find her. He goes, well,
Who?
she's on my desk. She's in safe hands. He goes, no, Axada stays in our chambers. I do not want that to be lying about in case people come by and pick it up. You will put it back when you are done.
Do you have a kitty?
A what?
Cat.
No cat. No cat. Sword. Large
Oh.
sword.
I thought you were talking cat.
No. Axada is my blade that I was gifted, forged specifically to kill Yati.
It's a sword.
Yes.
I like swords. I have 2 swords. Actually, I
Very-
have a lot of swords.
Very good. It is my sword. No, you cannot have it.
I wasn't
So
gonna ask
I
you if
want to
could
kill
have
that
it.
rude bitch. Really bad.
That's going to be more difficult than you think.
That sounds pretty easy to me.
She wasn't a god. Not initially.
And then what happened?
She wormed her way into the most powerful magical casting this side of the Creation Wars and put in fine print, shall we say.
The Creation Wars?
That is before my time even, but that is the first.
Oh, that wasn't 100 years ago then?
No, that was many eons. That was the first battles between heaven and the hells and the abyss, when the only thing that existed was dark and light and the blasted heath between. long before your time. And before mine, in a sense.
Are there historical records of the creation wars? Do those exist?
Well, I'm sure there are. No, not in this library. You would need to go speak with either, well, you would have to go to Mount Celestia and consult the record keepers there, or head down into the lowest depths of the abyss and barter your soul away to have access to those tomes.
I wonder if Auntie knows about it.
I bet she does.
Do you
I've
know
not met
Auntie?
She's our aunt.
She's not
Nice
really our aunt, but everyone calls
lady.
her Auntie. Yeah, we think she's a devil fiend. I don't really understand the difference, but
I am
she's
not
always
friends
been
with
nice to
devil
us.
friends.
Oh, okay.
So murdering blue ladies not gonna be easy.
Difficult, not impossible, but difficult. All dragons can be killed.
She gave us an axe, which then Adam took from me and now is in Ronan's bag because no one should be able to have that axe.
Why?
Very rude axe.
It talks.
It wants to go to a cave where I'd imagine she's hiding, or hiding something, and it wants to be there and do weird things.
Why?
I never asked why. I was just told.
That is your first problem.
When I stopped listening, they did not like it.
And why do you think that is?
Well, I wasn't really listening.
I can only imagine the frustration that comes from that. Very pointed glance over at Yati, who is just like going through.
So your fancy sword thing might not really be enough of a thing now, is what you're saying?
My fancy sword thing will not work for your circumstance.
So I've got my broken sword thing, and then a regular sword thing, and that probably wouldn't do it either, huh?
And puts down sword, puts down his cup, walks over, holds out his hands. Just give.
Why am I giving you my
Give.
things? The broken one's very important, and if you break it further, I'm not sure what I'd do.
Fine. And he holds, instead of having a hand out for each one, he holds both hands under your intact sword. I will show you.
I give him the normal ass sword.
He holds it. Flips it around. This will not work.
Thank you.
Holds out his hands to the other sword and goes, give.
All right, and I hand it to him.
And he holds it. And is looking over the shattered steel. And he flicks it. It's like, toong.
How'd you do that?
You flick it.
Oh,
It's metal. It rings when you flick like a bell. Now watch. And he takes the same finger and flicks you in the forehead. And through your body, Lami, you hear dong.
oh, I do it too.
It's the same tone but dropped an octave. And he goes, this will do it.
Probably not as is.
No. But it is yours.
Yeah, it's mine.
It was made for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you have axe?
I hate axes.
Do you have this axe?
So uncivilized. It's in Ronan's bag. Don't let Adam touch it, or I'll probably murder him. I'm gonna glare over at Adam.
If Adam or any blood is shed in this room, I will personally kill you and use our body to clean up the mess.
Noted, I will murder him when we leave if he touches it.
Esteemed sir, just the head is fine. I do not need the whole thing.
X.
Boom! In this beautiful power chord fifth interval, just rings through the room, and it doesn't stop until Tannel puts his hand on it and muffles it. He goes, "You may put it away now."
Foom. Do all swords do that?
We just established that my regular sword does not, that you gave me.
I pull out one of my swords and I flick it.
But
Mm.
just like the faint like kunk, like dropping a coin on the sidewalk.
Sad.
Not sad, just not intended for you. Tannel starts the sentence like 3 times. It will be easier to show you. One moment, please. Do not kill each other until I return. I need to know who to use to clean up the blood.
Mm.
He comfortably, casually sidles out of the room. And there's an awkward bit of silence. As Adam and Evelyn are just like staring down at their cups.
Thalia, flick your dagger that I made you.
Yati's still here, right?
You made
Yep.
me a longsword.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did make you a long sword. Sorry, it was really short for me.
I know I'm on the shorter side, but
Flick it. Does it ring? Because I made it for you.
I'll flick it.
There's some resonance to it. It
Aw.
rings a little longer.
Mm.
And in that kind of awkward pause, I can potentially answer some more questions or show you more wonderful things, or we can keep with small talk until Tannel comes back.
I mean, I want to murder a god and a hag, and that's pretty much the extent of my life. Apparently, you wouldn't care.
Why wouldn't I care?
Why would you? It's my life, not yours.
Umshara is in my backyard. And if the two of you, despite your better judgment, are going to hunt her down, I will advise against it.
Well, I would advise against a lot of things, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it.
Just big exhale through his nose, and you see this almost faint purpley pinkish mist kind of swirl out a little bit towards the end. My friends, answer me this. Honestly, if I feel I have been candid with you, I hope you will be candid with me. Do you believe that I am intelligent?
Oh, yeah.
Seemed pretty smart to me.
Do you believe
like-
that I have power?
Yeah.
Yep, you're pretty big. Big things are powerful.
Do you believe that I have a sense of right and wrong?
Yeah.
That I have morals as an intelligent being?
So far, yeah.
Do you think that I do not know what Umshara is?
No.
I don't know. What is she?
She's a hag.
Right.
She's a hag descended of one of the 3 fates that spun this world out of darkness and whole cloth.
There's 3?
Oh no.
Yes, there are.
Oh.
The
So
original
do we have
3,
to...
concerned with the lifelines of mortals and gods and dragons. One would weave the thread of life together from many disparate strands, family, location, all the things that help create life, give it a soul. The middle sister would determine how long that thread would be, and the final, when it was time, would snip that thread, and that mortal would cease to be. Umshara is not one of these 3. If she were, I would not live here.
Oh.
However, she is a daughter of the middle sister. She is older than I am.
So that mean if you were us, you would fight Blue Dragon, God, or the Hag first?
I would not.
Well, that wasn't an option.
I would fly. Given the option, I would fly as high as I could until the air becomes too thin for me to breathe and my wings freeze solid.
Icing problem.
Umshara is an unfortunate thing. Yes, she is cruel. She is unkind by most standards. She is not just another bog witch. Could I fight her? Perhaps. I have no guarantee of my success, and I have no guarantee of who else would suffer for my folly. Now, you are correct. I cannot tell you what you can and cannot do. That is the beauty of all creation having free will. But I can also advise away from certain death, and a path that, if you walk it, will end in at least your own deaths.
So what, we're just supposed to let her win and keep being awful?
She's balancing the world, isn't she?
She helps maintain.
Yeah, part of the balance.
Well, we've got a problem with her, and a short time frame to fix it. What?
Thalia, doesn't it seem like a bad idea to give her the magical dagger that she wants?
Possibly. How do we know we're the ones who are supposed to have it? How do we know we are the ones that deserve to have it?
I mean, you haven't murdered any innocents with it, so I mean, that's a plus.
You have a dagger that compels you to murder?
You ever hear of the legend of the Threadripper?
I had it first.
No. Kind of settles for it. No, I haven't.
Well, it's kind of been locked away for who knows how long. But this dagger can grant wishes as long as you kill an innocent with it. And apparently it belongs to Yeva. Or No, Umshar. Sorry. Too many notes. Too many names today.
Too many
I'm sure.
names all at once.
Too
Oh, they all
many
start with vowels. I'm
notes.
sorry.
Too many notes. We need to fight somebody named Brock to
Kevin.
clear our palate. Kevin. He's a big bird
Kevin.
person.
That's The Rock's name is Kevin. Kevin The Rock Johnson. Anyway, we're moving on. No, but it does seem... Do you have it on you?
No. It will compel it's bonded with more and more exposure.
Mm,
It's being held in a pocket dimension
oh,
by a friend.
I would get that out quickly.
So she could find it?
Not
And
her. Unless standards have changed. Pocket dimension walls are somewhat thin on the psychic parts of this world.
We're going on a quest to find the dagger that we thought was in the bag.
Uh,
Robbie!
Ronan, good morning.
Good morning, Robbie. Could you stick your hand in that pretty little bag of yours and pull out that super evil dagger that you have hidden away and make sure it's still there?
Is Thalia with you?
Well, yes, she is, but we're nowhere near you, which is the important part.
Thalia, does this action have your consent?
yes.
Very well. One moment. Like the call is still open as he's rummaging in his pocket. And he goes, "It is here. I have it."
Leave it out. Apparently can break the pocket dimension. We're also gonna
Interesting.
need it for something. Part of a deal. Made.
Very well. I will secure this on the material plane. Please consult me when you return. Also,
Okay.
Overrated.
hello, friends. I hope you are well.
Hello. We'll be there soon, Robbie.
Someday.
Now, as I was saying, it can't get out, but it can call for help. It is why intelligent magical items tend not to stay long in pocket dimensions. Short periods of time, sure. But
And saying regret, regret, regret.
we regret being alien bastards.
We regret coming to Earth.
But yes, if this Threadripper is still in the mortal plane and still available to be contacted, then it does make sense for her as a tool. And she wants it back.
Yep. She wants it back.
Looks very closely at the eye. Why, hello, ma'am. I didn't know we had a... And he kind of turns his head, and his right eye begins to glow very bright white. And the shaft of light kind of catches your hand, and you watch kind of just like the tattoo burns away. That will keep her from eavesdropping while you are here. I invited you, I did not invite her. If she would
Thank
like
you.
to speak with me, she simply has to knock.
I apologize for not realizing it was a two-way
No
connection.
need. No harm done. Nothing was spoken of that she does not already know. But But if she wants that back and it has been found, that does not... I don't know what that means.
Neither do we.
Oh, but I cannot wait to find out. You two. And the head slowly turns. Are the two of you still bonded to her? Like last time?
Who's whatsies to whose?
He's looking at Adam and Evelyn.
Evelyn goes, well, yes. That was why we were attempting to break that particular arrangement. And he goes, how on earth were you planning on doing that? Because last time you came and talked to me, we concurred there wasn't a way that we could get her to do anything she doesn't want.
I'm so mad at both of you.
Connection will be broken in 3 months.
I'm sorry, 3 months? How in the hells? Oh, you have to tell me. You have to tell me how you convinced that,
Take a guess.
that old biddy to let these people go. Oh, was
What?
that,
You don't think I'm
was
charming
that
enough?
what are you giving her?
That's part of it. Probably one of the most important currencies she has.
Oh,
Memories.
of course. Oh, a memory is just a lifetime trapped in amber. That reminds me. Wait one moment. I have something that may prove interesting to those of you in the room. Since we discussed the coalition and all that. One moment. And he leaps up from the couch, and instead of like a stately thum, thum, he scampers. And like the books and everything start to shake and rattle as he runs, but he does not knock over a single thing as he scampers away. And he comes back a couple of seconds later with a emerald that Ronan, on your best day, would take 3 of you to lift. This thing stands about 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and about 4 feet deep. He goes, come look.
What are we looking at? What are we looking at?
This, and you two as well. I just
Chair, take me there. I walk
Mommy,
over.
You've had 1 beer. If you
No, this is him normally.
Yes, if he needs the chair will be there. But until then, he can walk.
I'm
Before he
walking.
ages
I
up.
just think that chairs are fun. If we could borrow it, I'll race it.
I'm not racing another one of my chairs again. There's a
Oh,
reason those were
Done it
banned.
before.
When they first discovered how to animate objects, of course there were table races. How do you think we got flying carpets?
All right, what's in this thing?
Now, come, I need all of you to huddle together. This will be slightly disorienting unless you want to go one at a time.
Is this going to eat me?
No.
Oh.
I will show you the clearest memory that I was able to capture before the wish, before the abridgment took effect.
That sounds cool.
Does sound pretty cool.
It is not perfect, and I am ashamed
Cool.
that it is not perfect. But come closer. There will be a brief discomfort. You will all be in the same body. This is just a memory. You cannot do anything to change it.
Whose body are we going to be in? Do we fit?
You will all fit.
Oh. Pretty big body.
No. Well, he was larger than life. You will be in the body of one, and he checks a brass tag at the top. Body of one Ergen Shadow Dancer. At the launch day of the Citadel. And that's where we're going to take a break.
He's a friend from work.
We will be back in just a moment because it is 15 minutes after we normally do our bathroom break. So let's take a 10 because everyone seems
Lunch break.
excited. We'll take a 10. We'll be back in 10 minutes, and we're going to dive face first into a memory crystal and see what happens. Bye.
Bye.
Hello and good evening, and we're back. Little delayed, but that's okay. We're going to jump right into our little memory crystal thing that we got going on. So, as you all step forward, it's not a physical step. You kind of lean into the crystal, and all of you feel this wall of green gemstone sort of surround you as you feel like you're tumbling head over heels, end over end into this. And then you are standing bolt upright and sort of settling into a chair underneath a tree. There are several other chairs around you, but this looks like a large meeting of the Coalition brass. There are rows and rows and rows of white chairs scattered around in nice orderly rows, and you are seeing folks of all walks of life, all races, dwarves, elves, Goliaths. You see, sort of looking back over your shoulder to see some of the other folks, you do see nestled up a little higher than everyone else, a seating bank full of individuals covered in feathers with large beaks, sitting there kind of preening themselves as they're waiting for whatever this is to really take over.
It's Captain Price.
And
It's the Airy Coxus.
we would know them as Aarakocra, but none of you have ever seen one. But there is a individual standing up near the front, in front of what looks like a large lectern made out of glass or crystal, with the symbol of the Coalition, the 7 bands of color coming together and forming a fist, centered in what looks like this radiant sort of sunburst of white. And this individual sort of stands there with a dwarf, an elf, a human, an Aarakocra, a warforged, and what looks like underneath a very interesting leather getup, a triton. You can see fins poking out. You can see a sea folk standing there in some sort of apparatus to let them walk and breathe for extended periods of time, because you are in a desert around you. Outside of this little piece of paradise you guys have carved out, it is desert. As you look around, there's a like the gem around you, this sort of emerald haze that you're looking through, everything kind of glitches and cracks, and you hear, and on this day we take our next great step toward our survival. And there's polite applause, and he stands, and they all stand, and the man at the podium recites in a cadence that everyone else seems to know, and you in Ergen's body know it too. And as you are sort of sitting in this thought, you hear 8 voices in your head, one of whom you recognize as the commander of the shadows that you ran into, reciting this along with him. The man at the front says, "The enemy hammers at our gates," and in unison the crowd responds, Our feet like roots, we stand firm. Beneath our feet they dig and skulk, and in unison our light combined will blaze and burn. Arm in arm with sky above, our kin by shedded blood persists. By our bones and blades we fight, and again in that roaring unison, so that tomorrow may exist. And behind him, there is a roar. As you see something start to climb into the sky. Looks to be the size of a city.
There's a city on
Burning.
the moon, bro.
Up into the sky. And as the light and shockwave of all this races across the desert, you can kind of duck your head, cover your eyes from what's coming. And you hear Urgen's voice, a thought mostly to himself. That's it. That's how we get them out. And then the memory. And with the shattering of glass, you are back in your own bodies. Standing in Yati's chamber. Everyone is sort of... There's a general sense, like you are now slammed back into your body. I think most of you have had... Thalia's had the most out-of-body experiences. How do you all want to... However you
I had
want to
one in a
respond to
nice
that.
lady's closet once.
You did hang out in that, right?
My mouth is so dry.
First time, Roden. Have a beer.
Thanks. This is just the one that you half drank.
Yep, I haven't been offered another one yet.
Yati kind of perched behind it. It's like, so, what did you
What?
think?
What was that?
Well, that was the launch of the Citadel.
I didn't know you could launch cities.
Robbie's talked about the Citadel.
He has.
Yeah.
What has he said?
He didn't say they launched it.
He's never been there. But
And he
that's
didn't
snaps-
say it was a
hold on,
space station.
One moment. Snaps his fingers, and a book lands open in front of him, and a quill just hovers in front of it and goes, "Speak clearly, please."
Oh boy. Thalia's better at speaking clearly.
Sorry,
He's
speak
mentioned-
naturally, but try not to stumble over your words.
He's mentioned that that's where he got orders from, but he was never personally at the Citadel, from what I remember.
And he surely didn't
And-
say anything about it flying.
You said Robbie is this Warforged, right? Correct. He's a friend of yours.
Yes,
Designation
R66Y.
R66Y.
Interesting. Scout.
Maker Gino. Gino was his creator.
Friend from work.
Is he one of Gino's personal models?
We found him beneath Gormbor, isolated with its own separate power system.
What was he doing so far from home?
Where's home? He also doesn't remember much, but he also does. I don't know. I could never really tell if he remembered things or didn't remember things. It was very wishy-washy.
Your companion is a relic of this particular war, as I'm sure you've gathered.
Oh, yes.
He by all accounts of the wish, should have no memory of it. Which means someone else pulled a fast one when that spell was being made.
He has flashes of it. Things trigger his memory, but no specific recollection.
It's pretty weird.
Like a nightmare. Like a bad dream. A nightmare. Or more brought on by smaller stimuli.
Stimuli. Like, when Ergen asked for a designation, he knew immediately what to say. He knew the codes. When we encounter buildings, he knows how to access. But it isn't until he's faced with the interface.
Interesting. He snaps his fingers.
He remembers a mission. He remembers a mission. But
Wait, he was to the Citadel once. I think. The seismic scroll that we found, and I pulled a scroll out of the bag, when he was escorting someone back. He was supposed to go take somebody there. Or take somebody to someone else to take there. I don't remember which. But that's all the way back in my other notebook, which has been lost to time. And I hand Yati the scroll, the seismic scroll reading thing.
Gently.
Or I guess it's the Robbie logbook.
Okay.
The log of like taking prisoner, blah, 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 blah.
Interesting. Where did you find this?
In a prison that was underneath Easthoff.
Containment Unit 24601.
They had no rights. I think the officer there was Jean Valjean. Not sure though.
Well, I hope there were no living officers there. Those were unmanned outposts.
It was just kind of a big hand. It kind of
It was a
reminded
weird
me of
place.
this legend that we had as children of it was called Master Hand, and it kind of puppeted people
Yes,
around.
yes.
A Goliath tale.
Yes, I've heard many things about it. No, that
Some
is
Goliath Smash Bros.
Super Smash Goliath. Your friend is an interesting specimen because other Warforged that I've met have no memory. And this brings up a very interesting idea because Gino. What do you know about Gino?
Almost
That's big.
nothing.
Gino was one of the main minds behind the artificing program, behind the Disposable Hero initiative, as it came to be called. But he was one of the most brilliant people on that project, and he he had the most interesting set of morals. He built the entire internal chassis, the entire operational backbone and structure for it, and refused to power it up. Because he believed that they would we could create intelligence. He could wire it up so that they would operate as any normal person would. Normal person. Follow instructions, think for themselves. Emotions were tertiary at best. Gino believed that turning each unit we turned on, we had a responsibility to. Each unit that was activated was new life and had, in essence, a soul. Now, I am not one for discussing philosophy more so than discussing facts. But what I can say is Gino held on to that belief in souls until the day he was discharged. And I would not be surprised if our intrepid little gnome took a personal project home with him. I'd be very curious to meet with Robbie and hear his story and what he does remember. He kind of stares off, lost in thought. As Tanil, you hear the soft chime of something metal and steel and crystal ringing against each other, and you see Tanil come back with Thalia, that very similar looking two-handed greatsword, a Zweihander, sort of cradled in his arms like a child. And this edge is sharp and ready to cut, but he cradles it and it does not hurt him. He walks up to Lami, and as if he hadn't left the room and you guys hadn't just gone on a historical adventure, he goes, "So, this sword was made for me from when I was very young."
It's pretty.
Thank you. This is Axada. Say hello, Axada. And he kind of flicks the crystal. And this beautiful chord rings out. He goes, she says hello. This is my weapon. And has been. Since, according to my mother, before I was born. I was given a task. And that task was to wield this sword and kill him. He points at Yati.
Oh, and now you're friends.
No, not friends. Friends. No, not friends. History would say friends. Roommates. We are not roommates.
So now what do you do with it?
I keep it because it is part of me. I learned how to use it. I learned how to take care of it. I made it an extension of myself and my family and part of my purpose. He comes forward, points to his broad forehead. Goes, flick. Flick me.
What? I flick him.
It is 2 octaves apart. It is the bass note of that chord dropped an octave and up an octave. And he goes, "Good.
Overtones, bro.
Now flick both."
You and the okay.
Yes.
I flicked them both.
It almost knocks you over how strong
Oh.
this like resonance rings out and fills the chamber. But when he pulls his head up to look at you, the noise kind of pulls back into the two of them.
That's weird. Cool trick though.
I'll flick myself on the forehead.
No noise. No ring. You, my friend,
Mm-hmm.
have been selected.
For what? By who?
No. Someone had big plans.
Oh
What
yeah,
to
the
do
blue
with you.
bitch.
She could not have made these plans herself.
Why, I always followed her plans.
As did I.
Kind.
She made this sword for me. She helped. I do not use it to kill, but it is still mine.
Right.
Now, that, he points the broken sword on your hip. He goes, that is also yours. Same with the head taker. Both are yours.
I really don't want the big axe.
Then do not use it.
What am I supposed to do with it? I can't bring it to that cave.
Why not? What happens?
I don't
Do you
know. No.
Did you ask?
Nothing good ever happens in caves.
Didn't you mention something about the end of the world?
I'm not going to take offense to it. This is a very nice cave.
I'm sorry. It is.
It is a home. It is a cave. It's not a
He
cave,
does
it's a
not.
home.
We're working on words.
To be fair, I've seen what's left of his parents' estate. This is much nicer than his home.
Hey now.
Oof.
Just saying. You insult my
Shots
home, I
fired.
will insult yours.
I wasn't insulting your home. I just said nothing good happens in caves. This is a cave.
Correct.
Oh.
We got there. That is fine. Now,
This is a good cave.
apology accepted. Tennant steps in front and is like, this was not made by Eva for you.
Right. It's mine.
Yes. Whose was it before?
It's a family heirloom. I guess it could have been from lots of people.
Find out. And it will tell
We just said my house is gone, so where am I going to find that?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you ask the brass dragon who has opened his books to you. You could learn many things here. I'm opening his books to you, to him. You stay out of it.
I didn't
Yeah,
know the
he's
books
like-
were that detailed.
Yes, dear. This is...
Are you
choice you
telling me I'm
make.
going to read a bunch of books?
If you want to learn, you will need to. If you want to take the axe and bury it in the sands, that is up to you as well.
Everything. If you bury something in the sand, somebody always finds it. It's just a fact.
Then,
I don't want anybody to find this. I'd like to destroy it.
do you
And
know
her.
how?
No.
I heard a volcano works really
I know I don't have enough power, and I need to figure out how to acquire more.
Well, she is offering.
Who?
Her. I hear
No.
it in the axe.
Uh-uh. Can't trust her.
Correct. But you can take the gifts that she gives, and he hoists up the Zweihander and kind of pulls it, holds it up in a guard stance, and you realize that he moves like with the grace of someone who has been trained since birth to fight. You can use that however you wish. If you are willing to accept the consequences.
I'd rather not. I'd rather just blow up the consequences without the axe.
That is also your choice, but you will deal with the repercussions.
Better than consequences.
Those are synonym.
What's that?
It is not a spice.
I was muted, but that's what I said. I said it was a type of herb.
Well, I guess I've got some books to read then.
Yes.
Because the axe is not an option. Do they have pictures at least?
Some. One last thing I will say about Eva, and then I will stop talking about it. Creating me took generations of matchmaking and magic and arcana and maneuvering, combining bloodlines, finding the correct host to drive away, to make someone so obedient, so willing to listen, that I will do whatever she said without asking, even if it meant stumbling face first into death's mouth. She does not plan small things. And if she has chosen you and put this much energy and power into you in such a short time, she had good reason. And I do not believe that she has shared none of that with you.
Some.
What did she share?
Oh, things about the end of the world, you know, just the normal.
What did she share?
She said... She said something. Like I was supposed to take the axe to the cave, world
Adam
ending,
pipes up
create a new one.
from the table as you're stumbling over your words. She said the world is gonna end no matter what. We can be a part of it, or we can shape what's coming.
I say we shape it without her. Still very moldable.
That is interesting.
Lomi, I feel like what we're learning today is you need to work on your communication skills.
Yes. But not with her.
Well, no, but
Start with your friends and the people you travel with.
Thalia,
Because
do
if-
you want to help me read books?
No, I want to keep chatting with Yadi. I think it's a time for you to grow character.
Ronan's jaw
What if we all chat for a
visibly
while and then we
opens.
go read after?
What if you try it on your own first?
Hmm.
I kind of put my hand blocking Lami, over to Yati, and I'm like, I've never seen her turn down a book before.
I believe this is what they call personal growth in a lot of ways. I do appreciate a Brotherhood member who enjoys a good conversation, though. I much prefer that. One of my apprentices was a little brash, but was a good talker. I miss him.
Who were they? Was it the Dick Wizard?
The who?
The Dick Wizard.
Are you talking about Atronics?
Yes, him.
For a brief time, yes.
The next time you talk to him, make sure you call him the Dick Wizard. He loves
He
it.
does not know what I truly look like.
Oh. So keep it on the down low.
No.
That's what you're saying.
Don't
He kind of
use
is
it.
a dick.
He's doing his job. He's also my boss
He
still.
used to be worse. He used to be much worse.
Aha! See?
He's matured in time. But he understands the weight of the knowledge that he has to carry. And that does a number on anyone. Tano kind of pulls the sword down from her guard position and sheathes it. Goes, I apologize. I did not mean to disrupt. And as he puts the sword away, he kind of doesn't really fold back in on himself, but he is a smaller individual than he was. He's back to being this comfortable older gentleman whose house you happen to be in, and he is not a paragon of battle. He's not a poster child for an adventuring guild anymore. He's just a retired old man.
Yati, I feel at this point you've given us a lot of information. Have we been trading appropriately, or do we have some catch up to do?
Your insights have been much more illuminating than I anticipated. You are ground level observers, rapidly moving up the food chain, but you have been there. Tell me more about this detention center you found yourselves in. Was there anyone inside?
A hand guy, hand person.
I will go through and where to go?
The monitor.
Where to go? We found. Okay, here's the notes. Definitely was a coalition containment unit.
They're in a union?
Hey man, I got a lot of notes. Meant to contain enemies of the coalition in the Wintry Mountains. Over 1,100 prisoners. The last prisoner intake was 8.968.895. There's a warden.
There were 1,400.
Warden activation was 1.001.885. Directive is to self-destruct if they're breached. There's seismic event records. One of the prisoners was Philaren Talar of the Sylvians. Terrified after brought out of cryo. And recognizes Lulth but fears it.
That tracks for Drow. Lolth is their primary spider deity, and she is frightening. Lami, if you were looking for power, if you can contact Lolth, she'll be sure to give it to you, but I feel like at that point you might as well just get eaten by Yeva and call it a day.
Oh, like that would be hard to get then.
Other interrogation. They were referencing the end times. Most prisoners were obstinate but not terrified. Was infiltrated and compromised, but the warden had no record of it.
Interesting.
By Red. Who is Red?
Unconfirmed.
Yeah, that's what we call them. They're usually wearing red.
Well, that makes it easy to identify them.
We've murdered them 2 times.
Wow.
You've murdered them 2 times.
I was angry.
They've murdered me once. At least.
You seem to be doing quite well for having been murdered.
Thanks to Thalia. Twice.
Oh. This Red character. Tell me about them. The large details. Give me big picture.
I'll start word vomiting from the beginning. all
So
the
from
way
the dawn of
through
time.
Fear and Axe.
D&D later.
But all in Ronin form.
There were doors.
It's the scene from fucking Ant-Man with Lewis.
So it all started when I
And my old
followed a
boss was
string down a hole, and I found these people, and they were infected with robots.
In that recap, he, for a brief moment, when you mention the word menagerie, because I'm pretty sure that's a word that Ronan has used to describe. He knows the title of these places.
Mm-hmm.
He understands menagerie. And you watch a quick. He picks up. You watch Yati pick up the quill himself, and write in Draconic menagerie, doomsday. Survive? Question mark. But all in Draconic.
And then we found these doors under Korumvor, and they were locked, and they led to a place called Durganvor, and that's where Firanax was. And Red wanted to get in there for some reason, I think to infect Firanax with little robots, so that Red could control Firanax, but then we got in instead, and then Thalia couldn't talk, and then we fought the dragon because Robbie shot him, and Robbie also killed the king, making Robbie the king of Durganvor, and...
Robbie killed King Ragran.
Yes,
yeah.
he removed a curse, and then he died.
I don't think I've cursed you, have I? Tana goes, no, I appreciate it very much. I appreciate the extension of my life. This is a lovely time.
Good.
You kind of see him running his thumb across the necklace that he's wearing as he kind of says that, like, into his cup.
I was going to ask how that worked with a dragon that lived a billion years and a person that generally doesn't live a billion years.
How old do you think I am, friend?
At
What are you
least
two on about?
40.
That is technically correct. I'm about... I stopped counting after the first few centuries. I believe about 2,000 years old.
Oh. Well, you don't look a day over 41.
42,
Flattery
don't
will
push
get
it.
you everywhere.
Oh, that's what he said.
Your friend removing the curse from a red dragon. It is a curse. It is truly a... Raglan was kept as a trophy, it seems.
He didn't look very healthy.
No. Imagine being kept alive by something that hates you and wants to see you tortured every minute of your life.
My ex-girlfriend for you.
Yes. But Firnax is dead. Ragarin is dead.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you want one of Firnax's teeth?
I would love that.
I just yank one off of my necklace, 6 left, and
I
hand
forgot
it
you
to him.
still had that.
This is made of his scales.
An acceptable trophy.
So what do you know about this red person?
I think most of what we just told them is what they know about them.
You know
We'll
anything
fast
else,
forward
though?
through season 2 and talking about how he keeps coming back. It seems as though you haven't killed the real thing.
2 times.
Whatever is really behind it is still out there.
I think it's all like some kind of big decoy.
No. But I'm very curious.
Like they're actually maybe wearing like a purple cloak, but they send a red one after us covered in robots so that the way that would never know.
Purple.
Chaos
Also-
mentioned colors.
She's talked to Chaos.
You all continue to surprise me in...
Ooh! I pull out Adelaide.
Wait. One thing at a time, Ronan.
You have spoken with a primal.
And I'm
And you are
supposed to go back and talk to them some more.
conscious and not dead.
Yes. Yeah? I'm not dead, right?
I poke her in the cheek.
No, not dead.
Not dead presently.
Yeah, I've talked to them twice now, and I'm supposed to go back and get more of their story. No,
Third time
I wrote an
pays for
invitation.
all, it seems. Fascinating. Colors. Darling, what was it? Can you grab the report from the Chronal Observatory on the South Pole, please?
There's a South Pole?
Of course there's a South Pole.
Does that mean there's a North Pole?
No.
And an East Pole and a West Pole?
No, there's no east and west.
But those are directions. How do you know which way is east if there's not?
Comes back with a roll of parchment. And as he lays it out on the large table, Nyati kind of looks over it with his quill and circles 7 points on this very complex diagram, but you see a single black line sort of running across the x-axis. And he circles 7 points where the lines do not follow in a natural flowing progression, where it seems they reach down and they kiss the timeline and pull back up. And Yanti goes, colors. How many colors?
7 or no, wait, 6 or 7. He said there's 6 siblings, the rest of the rainbow lost in time, each trying to fix what could not be fixed.
Does this have to do with that confusing light puzzle that was under the lake with the goopy red people?
The
And
confusing...
I think that was the coalition.
That's a very coalition thing. They really leaned into the theme. I believe I have a theory. And I have very little evidence. Does that make sense? Someone, something, or several somethings, as he points to this chart, is interfering with time. Divided seven colors, as if using, and he switches into Draconic as his brain starts going, and Lami and Thalia, you hear, using the material and ethereal planes as a prism to divide time into its 7 constituent parts. There would be 7, allowing for blue shift as it shifts further away. If all 7 land, what happens? Is that the plan, or is that when the plan stops? And he starts frantically turning, and he turns and knocks over his entire couch and like runs over to the other side of the room on all fours and starts grabbing charts and pinning them up against the wall and is moving frantically. Looking over at Tannel, Tannel is concerned. For the first time, he does not have that implacable soldier face on. Oh no. Oh, this is not a good thing.
Someone's stealing time.
No. No one's
That's good.
stealing time.
My first employer told me it was a very serious offense.
He's correct. But capitalism is just, theft by the state. It is fine.
What's happening then? I don't get it.
From what I know of time, it can be manipulated from either end, as seen by the abridgment. You can
Time's
erase
not a line.
history.
Time circles. That's what
I'm
thoughts
familiar with the
around.
concept.
Correct. But all of time is happening in that circle, cyclically. All of time is happening all at once, for everyone. But at a certain point, if you came back, one person could come back multiple places at multiple times. He spins the chart and he points the spots where Yati is circled. These...
Is it? Go ahead. No, you.
No, ask the question. I want you to get used to asking questions and find the intelligent questions.
Does that mean there's more of me?
If I sent you into the future, yes.
So all of these versions of Red we've been running into could be future versions of Red that are coming back?
Perhaps. Or... oh no.
My head hurts.
Think of it this way. You talked about balance a lot. And unfortunately, my husband did not really hear you. He was more interested in the stories about Umshara and chaos and all of that. Talking about balance. The wrong that cannot be righted. The abridgment. Whatever erased this history 100 years have passed and the universe is trying to correct itself. Someone or something is trying to undo it.
Ooh, what if they're from the time that was forgotten?
Mm.
And they're trying to fix it.
I've forgotten a lot of times.
This is something coming back. Meanwhile, Yati has just plastered drawings all over the wall, and there is smoke, that same pinkish purple smoke just pouring out of his nostrils as he's working. I'm sure he will come to some kind of conclusion in a moment, but it's better to leave him alone. You do not want to be squished.
That is fair.
That is only a theory for me as well, but it explains why he has not died.
Well, he seems to know something about what's happening because he's got papers and lines and things.
No, your red friend.
Oh, right.
There's a green one that is the reason why the Brotherhood in Kando burned down.
These are small, little
Holograms.
Modron friends.
Holding.
Made of, from OBS, they are agents of order. They are agents of the wheel turning as the wheel should turn. You are all fighters. You all understand.
I am now.
You sometimes need to make the sacrifice and start with whatever is left, even if you are not there for it. You need to restart. And this, and he turns and taps the page, Menagerie, Doomsday. If the Modron, this red, knows that he can rebuild, and he wants to set the world spinning again as it should, then he could. There is no limit to what he would be willing to do if he has a plan B. He can crash the planes into each other, and if with enough time, rebuild. I do not believe that is his plan, or he would have done that. But this small scale transformation of pulling the threads on the patch that all these people put on the universe to make it as if it did not exist, hiding who and what they were, is not the solution to the problem at hand. It postpones it. Just like not taking this axe and doing something with it. Destroying it, putting it where it needs to go. You need to do something with it.
I said it was going to destroy it, but we're not putting it in the cave. That sounds dangerous.
Oh no, the brave heroes of the Ashen Shade Committee do not want to do something dangerous.
Well, no, I'd like to murder her, actually. But I just don't know how yet.
I couldn't reshape the axe, could I? Being a bladesmith myself.
You would need. You would need to shape it. You would need to melt it down the way that it was made.
How was it made?
You tell me. You brought it here.
Ed made it, right?
It came from the goop puddle that Robbie and Lami made in Cormpor.
Mm.
If you can do
So-
that again, you can melt it to make it whatever you wish.
I don't think we could do that again.
I have ideas.
At least not in my state. So are your books like alphabetical, or do I just dig around until I find one with a cool name?
Where do you want to start? Genealogies, histories, swords? You tell me where you'd like to begin.
Oh, I'm gonna have to guess, and I'm gonna guess badly.
She goes, take a stroll in the oasis, wander around, pick the book that feels correct. The right
Got it.
book always seems to be nearby. Go on, shoot.
I will. I'm going.
Your chair, kind of diligently following behind you, and you watch as the top of it kind of like folds down a little bit, and it sort of turns into a walking, almost like a milk crate on legs to hold books as you find them. Kind of follows you out. Ronan, do you have questions?
Let me finish writing this word because my brain can't talk and write at the same time.
That is fine.
Me either.
There we go. So new quest marker for me unlocked. Axe. Make not axe. Can I fight you? Like not like meanly, like
I was going to ask if you would spar. It has been a moment since I have found someone of relatively equal size.
I'm really old right now though, so
You look not a day over 42.
well, I
Ooh.
feel about 78.
You're
On
still
age,
under
Ronan.
100. It counts.
On age.
Here.
Make him 17.
He goes- he takes that amulet and holds it out. Goes, put your hand on this. And as you kind of wrap your hand around it, you feel this unbelievable suffused warmth. And you feel not necessarily that the curse has been removed, but you feel better. You don't feel quite back to where you were previously, but you're still a little older, you move a little slower, but you are more in fighting shape.
Does this mean my strength goes up by 2?
Your strength will remain the same.
All right.
You just now have like bow control and your knees don't pop when you squat,
Perfect.
which is really all we want when we grow older.
True. Would you say I've gotten a short rest?
I would give you a short rest, buddy.
Awesome.
Just come to the armory. We will find a place to actually take him to the armory. Let him choose what he would wish. will be down shortly. Now, Miss Thalia. You have questions, I hope. Or just general confusion.
I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of questions, and I know Yati's working on something.
Preoccupied. This may last for several days.
Oh. Okay.
He's troublesome when he gets in moods like this. He does not
I-
eat, he does not drink.
I get it.
You have these moods as well?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
And what do your friends do when you are in these moods?
Haven't had one in a while. Gonna be honest. They haven't had one since
Previously,
been with me.
what have your friends done?
Literally dragged me away from my work and made sure I ate. And
Those
drank.
are good friends.
And pushed water in my face.
Those are good friends. I will be here for some time until Yati is tires himself out. Now Yati plays his game of sharing truths and things, and as he should, he has great many things in that mind of his. I play no such games, because I know I do not know everything. But I will help answer as best I can.
Okay, let me go over. Well, I've talked. Wow, there's been a lot tonight. I have like 5 pages of digital notes.
Told you
I've,
it was gonna be a lore-heavy session.
Yeah, all the questions I have here were more for like Yati.
You can ask. You can ask, and I'll tell you if Tennel would know or have an answer for you. Because he's been alive for 2,000 years. He's got a lot of info in that knot.
Yeah.
I bet they know each other pretty well. They're roommates after
Like
all.
I figured everyone would come with swinging with the heavy hitters, so I just kind of had like the not heavy hitters. I had other stuff like what's the most interesting story you've heard recently? I'm curious. I was gonna ask what creatures or powers they had a spoken unspoken agreement with. Just gonna ask why did Yati help found and sponsor the Brotherhood? God, I definitely know I have a lot of questions about this whole timeline. This time shenanigans thing. I just don't know even how to phrase it at this point. But if you want to save that for later, I mean,
was gonna say we could do that. We could do that next week because it is 10
yeah.
o'clock.
I was about to say that sounds. Oh man. I guess I'll just ask. I guess about the 7th Choir of Creation a little bit. Like, are there books I could read? I have one, and I'll pull out the one. Where's my inventory sheet? Where'd it go?
What do you mean character sheets? Who needs those?
The Children of the Books.
Champions of the Divine book. See, you gave, and I wrote it down.
Good. Excellent. Let me pull it out.
Oh.
Good. A good
I have to
choice.
start.
A very good start. That looks to be in better condition than our copy here. You speak Celestial?
Fluent. I'm half Celestial.
Mother's or father's side?
Mom.
Is this a familial interest or just a studying interest? You don't have to answer that.
I guess a bit of both.
Well, before I go, what is the phrase? Beat the piss out of your friend as training exercise. Let me take you to the records room. I feel like you may enjoy yourself there. You're a
I
musician after
could enjoy myself in any of these rooms. I'm gonna be honest. As much as I told Lami I wasn't gonna read with them, I really just want to walk in and just read whatever book speaks to me. I'm gonna be
Well, I
honest.
will let you keep your promise.
I could be here probably my entire lifetime.
It is pretty great. Now, I will let you keep your promise to your.
He needs to learn.
He does.
He does.
He needs to.
Thank
learn
you for
many
helping.
things. Of course. He seemed very untrusting. Which, to be
Yeah.
fair, I would be in his position as well.
I've been trying to get them to read and like do their own stuff. Ronan's gotten a little bit better at it. There was Lythar who was kind of into it, but then he started speaking to the trees and everything.
It's terrible conversationalists. They take too long to get back to you. Also, something about writing a letter on a tree and mailing it is not.
That's why we haven't heard. That explains a lot. Anyway,
But come with me. He looks over at Yati, who is like fully immersed in what's going on. He's like, he will be fine. I'll give him
another
3
one.
hours in check.
Oh my gosh, I feel. We've been just kind of taking over this conversation.
No, I will have a personal conversation with the two of them. I apologize for any potential awkwardness that occurred. There is history there. Personal history. If you catch my meaning.
Like a threesome?
The term is polycule. That he leads you down a hallway to a room that just has a large flat crystal embedded in it. And he goes, "You are of the Brotherhood. I hope you have seen these." And he opens it. And inside, in beautiful, organized scroll boxes, are rows and rows and rows of memory crystals. And he goes, "You don't have to read a single word while you are here. But..." And he reaches over and taps a shelf and goes, "These are the oldest ones. And I believe..." And his fingers kind of trace along. He goes, "That's where I put it." And he pulls one free. And it is the size and shape of a conductor's baton. And he goes, "I trust you will know how to make this one work. This is merely an echo. An old Brotherhood outpost on a mountain under quite literally impossible circumstances heard this. And as far as we can tell, that is the only recording of the first performance. I'll leave you to it." And he gently walks away, closes the door behind you. You want to send us out with anything? With what you do with it? I'm very curious.
I mean, so it's in a box?
It is kind of pulled free in this box and opened up, and yes, it is this like crystal conductor's baton.
I'm going to adjust my stance to my right foot slightly back, nice and evenly balanced, shoulders up, squared. I'm going to take the baton with my right hand and
lift it, and just close my eyes and let instinct take over. Whatever, because I'm assuming there's magic. I'm just gonna let it take over.
You
Just gonna
hear
open.
a single high soprano female voice, this crystal high tone, come crescendoing out of nothing, and your vision sort of fades into this weird half black, and as that voice gets louder, there is a single pinpoint. And you hear your mother's voice say in Celestial, "And there was light." We will flash to white, and that's where we will wrap for today. So, I hope that there was less resolution to some of the big things than I thought, but we did finally get the big glaring thing, the abridgment, the patch job on history.
Phenomena.
Phenomena.
Mahana Mahana.
So yeah, that's
Kuna
been
Matata?
welcome to the core conceit of this fucking D&D
I thought you said
campaign.
you hated time shenanigans.
I hate bad time travel shenanigans, which means when I'm doing it, it's good.
All right,
Or
y'all,
confusing.
boys, how we gonna screw this up for you?
Oh, don't you worry.
I can't wait. Oh boy, I
figure it
can't
out.
wait. Don't worry, they're coming back and fucking with the timeline, so whatever you guys do,
6 Ronins in a trench coat.
it's just called a giant. But awesome. So yeah, thanks y'all for playing. Thank y'all for listening to a whole 3-hour lore dump. I hope it was informative. Please ask me
Next
questions.
one is a shopping stream. And then
Honestly,
the beach episode.
I think
Check-
it's more
we're
lore.
gonna get we're getting all our filler episodes in right now before real plot. We did a real
There's that-
plot dump.
There's that really annoying Naruto filler episode music going around with the little rubber ducky noise.
Mhm, mhm.
That's just playing through the whole thing.
Good. Thank God.
Oh wait, yeah, this is the time to catch up on whatever happened in season 1 and 2, as
Yeah.
we're lore dumping.
Guess
so hope
what,
y'all
motherfucker?
are.
Guess what,
There's a lot
motherfuckers?
of content
Season
there.
four's up there. If you want to watch me from like 3 years ago when I was like hopeful and didn't think the streaming thing was gonna work,
We
and
were
now
all
I'm less
hopeful.
hopeful and still don't. But the streaming thing's working, so here we go. So yeah, thank you for hanging out and doing things.
Dungeons and Dragons and boats.
and boats.
Boats.
Oh, my. Boats.
Oh my god,
Boats are
I
season
was
2.
fully prepared to go on a boat rant as
I
one of
also-
my stories.
It's on my list of stories to trade. I was
I
like,
was
the
gonna be like, and then
mystery
there was
on
an
the boat.
engine, and there's a genie in the engine, and then it came out, and then people were chanting.
And then there was a
his name.
murder mystery because
glad
2
we
people were
didn't get
trying to
that far.
they're all trying to murder each other.
But
and
I
then
still don't
actually-
know who murdered who.
I was about to say, I was like, that'd be a great story. Wait, we don't actually know what.
And then there was a werewolf.
If we had gotten to that, Yati would have been like, "Oh, it was clearly so and so," and then we move on. Like, here's the solution. Full Sherlock.
All right, Benoit.
Benoit Blanc. He's got the wrong accent. Yati has the wrong accent for that. Actually,
Next episode, beach episode. What?
Back to the beach.
Back to the beach. So yeah. Anyway, before we go, check out Shedler Woodworking. Get yourself some stickers. Because they're
And
rad as
wood.
hell.
Power
And
stickers.
some wood.
No wooden
And
stickers
then
though.
tomorrow is another episode of The Fall of Mortu, which should be good. That's starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I believe we're the next stream next week. Because folks are still moving
yes.
to Idiot's Guide, so we're still figuring that out. But that's okay.
I won't be here anyway.
Great. So no Idiot's Guide, but we will be back next week for a little bit more nonsense in Yati's library. So thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next week. Take care, everybody, and take care of each other.
Bye.
Bye bye. So how much conditioner do they